Hey, good morning. It's Wednesday, March 4th, and I'm Jeffrey Ye, the Columbia County, New York muckraker. And here's what you need to know before walking out your door. So, everybody knows the Honorable Roger Minor. And if you ever go in our courthouse, when you first walk in, look to the left, and there's a wall dedicated to Columbia County's finest legal mind in the past 100 years. So you walk right in the door just before you get to the deputies, you look to the left, and you will see Roger Minor. There's a wall dedicated to him in our Columbia County Courthouse. The reason we're bringing it up today is today's show is about Columbia County Court Watch. And our first story comes from multiple viewers and text messages that was sent to us all through the day, yesterday and last night. And moving right along into that, it's about racial disparity in the Columbia County Courthouse. And that's the question that is being asked of us, and has been, what is going on in the Columbia County Courthouse? The one guy that we saw here murdered somebody in the town of Livingston and got a sentence on last Friday, or was plea dealed to 5 years in state prison. Meanwhile, yesterday, the guy was in court from the Koweek shooting at the Halloween party, and he is getting 9 years. And the question, as you can see, that is coming to us. So killing someone of 5 brings you 5 years. Being black and shooting someone who survives, you get 9 years. So that's the question that is being actually asked to us. So what do you think? 5 years for murder after stabbing someone to death this past November, and 9 years for attempted murder for shooting someone at a Halloween party and person surviving. Does racial diversity exist in the Columbia County Courthouse? You decide. The district attorney has not given any reasonable explanation for a 5-year sentence for murder. What are we to think? And what are you to think? But moving right along today, and I have got to just pretty much throw the teleprompter away for the next story because it's pretty much useless. We have to get into the story of what happened in the Columbia County Courthouse within the last 2 weeks with a jury. This is Rebecca Alamillo. And anybody not familiar with Rebecca Alamillo, she is a coordinator and works for the Greene County and Columbia County Domestic Violence. She has a staff of 6. She also is in our courthouse every week, almost every day. She gets multiple order of protections from criminal and family courts. And we got to ask, what the hell were you thinking, Rebecca? And let me tell you everybody why. Last week, Rebecca Alamillo was in Judge Koweek's courtroom. And it was Thursday of last week. She was standing there talking to a crowd of people, including the court stenographer was in this part of this conversation. And she was bragging about how she served on a jury within the last 2 weeks. Not only did she serve on that jury, she went on and continued to tell everybody that she had to pretend that she didn't work with anybody in the courthouse and didn't know anybody in the courthouse, even though she works with them on a daily basis. She committed perjury. I don't even know what to say on this matter. The funding that they get from Columbia County Department of Social Services, the Legal Aid Society, the close relationship between her and the district attorney, Paul Shaika, the close relationship she has with the county judges, along with the town judges throughout Columbia County. And she lied and committed perjury by saying and pretending that she doesn't work with anybody within that courthouse to serve on the grand jury. What do you think? I mean, is it perjury? Is it lying? But why should we believe anything you say, Rebecca? You have single-handedly destroyed a domestic violence program that operates in Columbia and Greene counties. Because why should anybody believe anything you said if you had to pretend in a jury in Judge Koweek's courtroom and lied in that courtroom? And then to have the nerve to brag about it in the same courtroom. Multiple witnesses heard you. It gets better than that. On Friday of last week, Judge Koweek was notified of that crazy stunt that was pulled by Rebecca in his courtroom. When it was brought to him, Judge Koweek's response was, I have a feeling it was my case in my courtroom. That's where it ended. Well, we let it go through the weekend. We let it go. We knew about it on Friday. Everything transpired. Everything. So yesterday, haven't heard anything back out of anything about this. Yesterday, I went down to the Columbia County Courthouse. And I went in, I talked to the court clerk. We have some awesome court clerks down there in that Columbia County Courthouse. I spoke to the gentleman, asked to find out what trials, what jury cases were scheduled within the last 2 weeks to pinpoint what case Rebecca served on a jury with. He couldn't give that information out because he said it was private information. I went on and continued and told him the story about what Rebecca did and what she was saying in Judge Koweek's courtroom on Thursday of last week. His response was, what was she thinking? We got a problem. Yes, you do. You have a problem. And, you know, the problem here is the Columbia County District Attorney knew this was going on. Judge Koweek knew it was going on. The court clerks during this jury knew this was going on. You know, and we have to say, integrity is the very breath of justice. Confidence in our law, our courts, and in the administration of justice is our supreme interest. No practice must be permitted to prevail which invites towards the administration of justice a doubt or distrust of its integrity. This is continually happening in the Columbia County courtroom under District Attorney Paul Shaika. Pay attention to our page. Last month, we were bringing to you an ADA holding crystal meth sex drug parties in an Albany hotel at the Days Inn on Central Avenue. That same ADA was paying cash bribes so the court system would not find out about this. Not only that same ADA was in the town of Kinderhook Court trading sexual favors to dismiss cases in Kinderhook Town Court. That same ADA was arrested in the state of Virginia, and we posted up all his arrest reports on a felony, pleaded down to a misdemeanor. District Attorney Shaika, while this was going on, promoted him to ADA from a clerk, a law clerk, to an ADA throughout Columbia County while he was on criminal probation. Then you get a stunt like this with Rebecca. This total courthouse is running on corruption. Everybody in that courthouse within the last 2 weeks knew what was going on with Rebecca. Knew she was deceiving the jury, the defense attorney. Our question is, you know, if anybody else served on that jury, we want to hear from you at Start Your Day with Ye. You can reach me at 518-965-6667. We want to know who the defense attorney is on this case. And we want to know what actually Paul Shaika thinks of it, because I think he thinks it's a joke. And we don't know if Paul Shaika is even mentally capable to remain as Columbia County District Attorney with all this going on. He's known of everything that's going on. He was there for the stunt that Rebecca pulled. He went and talked to her after the fact. Everybody clearly knows. So, Paul, I got a question for you. How much blackmail runs that Columbia County District Attorney's office? You know, how many people have the blackmail, and how much blackmail do you have on people within the Columbia County court system? The judges, the lawyers, and whatever else. There's a lot of stories coming to us. You guys did a really good job on taking down my personal Facebook page of 5,000 people with my original Columbia County New York Citizen Action page of 3,000 people. I still have 8,000 people within Columbia County that tell me what's going on. Do you really think you're going to pull a stunt like this in the Columbia County Courthouse without it getting out that quickly? I have some of your own people reporting back to me, Paul Scheika. So we'll leave it like that. But are you capable of running the district attorney's office? You have corruption after corruption out of that district attorney's office, which is filtered into the Columbia County Courthouse. Judge Koweek was well aware of what was going on and what transpired. That lady, Rebecca Alamalo, she single-handedly destroyed one of the agencies that is meant to protect the women of domestic violence in Columbia and Greene counties. Why should anybody believe a word that comes out of her mouth from this point forward? If she lied in this jury, or lied to the judges and everybody else in the Columbia County Courthouse to serve on a jury, which Paul Scheika knew about it, how do we know she's not lying on any other case that she's handling for domestic violence? Great job on destroying the domestic violence program in Columbia and Greene counties. We have no trust. That's the end of our show for today. I'm really disgusted by all the actions of what's going on down at the courthouse.